Hello, Serge here from the back porch. Have a great question, and it's so much more, I guess probably more of a comment and an explanation than a question, and it comes from Charlie Y. And Charlie says, I saw or heard something new to me at 1:53 on today's video. The proper amount of turn is the title of that video. When the Serge talks about sitting down into the right leg and describes a down-up move. I had a discussion of this type of weight transfer just the other day, but did not recall hearing or seeing anything on this move. I tried it today, and it was difficult at first, but I got more and more comfortable with it with each successive hit. I felt the power of the earth like athletes in other sports describe in the way they get their action-reaction power by planting energy into the earth and getting it back. I hope I didn't misunderstand Serge's description of sitting down into the right leg and the down-up move. Okay, and then he came back right after this and he wrote what he titled Edit. I found a 2:28:11 video on titled Maximum Release to Perfect T Finish, and this move is described in it at about 1:23 of that video. Don talks about pushing off and up. His discussion goes on for a considerable amount of time. I must have been napping when I viewed this video. He says it loud and clear. The swinging up as fast as possible registered in my brain, but the standing up as fast as possible did not. So I'll discuss those two things. I'll stop by discussing that since it's just been said. The swinging up means that once we start our forward upswing with the bump, right from this point when the bump pulls my arms down, I'm automatically what? From this point, I'm swinging up to the T finish. As I've said over and over, the downswing is free. Right? Gravity is pulling the club down, pulling my arms of the club down. But what is not free is from impact afterwards coming up. And so we know that impact states you must approach the ball on the aiming line, strike it on the line and be square, leave on the line, accelerating, and hit the ball solid or in the sweet spot while doing the first 3 points. So the key is we must be accelerating through the finish, through the impact up to the finish. And so swinging up to the top does it all. For us. And as you know, if you've been with me long enough, you know that I figured all of that out when I kept wondering why people couldn't swing up and stand up as fast as I wanted, and I finally deduced it was the concept of hitting down on the ball. And the biggest problem hitting down is that we're putting all our energy in the down, but not up. So people tend to hit deep divots and stop at the ball. And so when you swing up, your body stays back. Hitting down tends to always move the body forward ahead of the ball and opens it up, which adds to steep angles of attack and the club face coming in and opening up and hitting slices, pulls, everything. That's why we don't hit down, we swing up. So when it was said that swinging up is as fast as possible is good, right, that's the arms and club swinging up. Standing up means that we have to have the body also moving and standing up, because my swinging up is slowed and restricted if my body doesn't stand up. So the whole body has to go. And because I'm slightly, after I impact, I'm turning, the right side is behind the left. So the right side has to catch up to eventually get to what? The body square, so that we can swing up over the shoulder and stand up. So the right side has to be moving even faster because, again, like centrifugal force, this has farther distance to travel to get to square to the target. So that's what the standing up means. So the swinging up is about the arms of the club really swinging up, but they can't swing up as fast into the correct place if the right side, if your trailing side, your backside does not swing up, does not stand up to allow the swinging up to come up. And don't forget, the big issue here is also the head. I've seen a lot of people who try to move their body and stand up, but if the head doesn't come up, that restricts your shoulders from standing up completely to level off, and you're stuck over here. Everything has to stand up, dead level, eyes level, shoulders level, and so the club can get over the shoulder, recoil and relax. And remember, your balance is based on eyes horizontal to the ground, so anything where the eyes are not horizontal, you're not in dynamic balance. So you got to stand up to eyes in shoulders level, which eventually has the hips level, like just as I'm standing here looking at you. If I was like this, I'm not very balanced, and we don't want to finish that way. We have to finish all level, because especially that point of the eyes horizontal to the ground is the basis for true dynamic balance in standing, walking, swinging, and doing anything. So this was a great question in that in regard to that swinging up, standing up. But I'm going to cover one more thing: the sitting into the right side, like Charlie Y said, is most golfers, especially when they overturn, as long as your legs are attached to your hips to the ball and socket joint, if you turn your shoulders at least 90 degrees or more, and your hips turn about 45, as long as your leg stays attached to your hip, your leg will very likely straighten up. Now, it is possible to keep it flexed, but I would say for probably at least 95% plus of all golfers, including professionals, if they turn that much, the right leg straightens. If the right leg straightens, that means the hips going up, the right shoulder's going up, and very likely you're going to tilt, the shoulders will tilt, because for every action, there's a reaction. So if the right side goes up, the left goes down. So that makes the swing backwards now, because if your right side goes up and your legs straighten, what happens when you transition and you try to start to come down? At some point, as your hips go this way, it'll do what? This leg will eventually have to break to go down, and when that one breaks, very likely it's going to snap this one. So most golfers play with an up-down motion. It needs to be a down-up motion, pushing up. Just like the baseball pitcher pushes off the mound, the quarterback goes back, he sits into the right side a little bit, his backside, and he throws. And then we have probably the ultimate one, I think, that we can all see is the tennis player. They stand here, they stand up, they throw the ball up, and they sink and they go up and get the ball. So power comes from down to up, and I think that's where we get the concept of where Charlie's talking about, where he mentions, I felt the power of the earth. The power of the earth. You're using the earth to stabilize you and be able to jump off of. And so that's why, I tell a lot of folks, it's pretty hard to play golf and hit a good shot on a waterbed, because you're swashing around in there. Now, naturally, a trampoline would spring us up, but that doesn't keep you stable to the earth. You have to be stable to the earth to be able to get that push up and move to your forward side. So Charlie brought up a bunch of really great points here, and hopefully we tied all of these together. That's another reason why the turn is the other reason why that we can't have a bigger turn past here, because if you keep turning your hips, it straightens your legs up. If you straighten your legs up, your knees are no longer level. And what's my definition of knees? They're the levelers and stabilizers. We have to stay level in sense that go down to up, not up to down. So Charlie, thanks for those great comments and perceptions that you felt about the swing being that load, or as I call it, sit or sink into your backside. You have to sink to swing up. Okay? Well, that's it for the surgeon. Hopefully this really clears up this concept about loading into your trailing leg, and for me it will be my right leg being a right-handed player. Okay? So that's it for that now, and I'll be talking to y'all again soon.